You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips Podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today, Jeff Bajorek is back, and well, to be honest, today's tip is a bit goofy, but I love it. Check it out.
So what do you want to be when you grow up? And how do you like your peanut butter and jelly? Now, for me, quite frankly, I still don't know. But if you're going to make me a sandwich, I want extra peanut butter, probably twice the amount that someone would ever actually need on a sandwich. And I want about 1.5 times your regular serving of jelly. So there should be a 4-to-3 ratio of peanut butter to jelly, and it should be enough to squeeze out the sides of the sandwich. And the softer the bread, the better, because it should be gooey. It should stick to the roof of your mouth, and it is so delicious. Now, thank you for sticking with me this long. Why did I ask those two questions, and why did I answer them? Because they're kind of fun. They're kind of off the wall. And when you're in a situation where you're meeting someone new, maybe they're not a prospect, maybe you're at a networking event, you're at a work event, you're meeting new people, what do those questions tell you about the people that you're asking? It's really entertaining, and I always get a smile from someone who is older than me, and I'll be 40 here pretty soon, and I ask them what they want to be when they grow up. They always smile. And you know what comes next? The thing they really want to do. You learn a lot about them. And there's a little bit of irony in the question because a lot of times these people are very established professionals. But the idea that maybe they'd rather do something else when they grow up one day makes them laugh. The peanut butter and jelly thing, quite frankly, I'm still working that thing out. But what I have learned from talking to people about it, because that's what my goofy friends and I talk about, is that everybody likes theirs a little bit differently. And you know what happens when you ask a question like that? People lean to the side a little bit. They cock their head a little bit to you, like that puppy dog who doesn't quite understand what you're asking or why you're asking. But if they play along, and you can get them to play along, and feel free to volunteer your own answer first, you've created a connection that is memorable and indelible. Hey, maybe they'll be a prospect one day. Maybe you're just trying to have fun in an otherwise awkward situation. But either way, you will be memorable and you will be known as someone who is having fun. And I say, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So don't be afraid to be but don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to be a little goofy. Listen, if it's not your sense of humor, then find something along those lines that is in your sense of humor. But when you go someplace where you're just trying to meet somebody, you're really just trying to connect with people, and you don't know what the next step is, don't be afraid to have fun. You don't have to be this person in a box with a stick running up their spine who's tight and stiff and really boring, right? Think of some questions that are fun. Think of some questions that are engaging. Think of some questions that'll lead to a connection. And don't be afraid to be a little bit of a goofball, because everybody likes that goofball just a little bit.
Me, I like my peanut butter sandwich with at least 2 to 3 times a reasonable amount of peanut butter. And it's gotta be creamy, not chunky. Enough that if you don't have something to drink in hand, you might get yourself into trouble. And ideally, there's some honey on there as well. First, because I like it. And secondly, because allergies are definitely an issue in Austin, and eating local honey is supposed to help with that. So why not? What about you? How do you like your peanut butter sandwich? What do you want to be when you grow up? And what other goofy question do you like to ask so you don't seem so stiff and boring? We want to know. Join the conversation at dailysales.tips/159 or comment on the tips on LinkedIn by clicking over to dailysales.tips/LinkedIn. Thanks for listening, and come back tomorrow for another great sales tip.